Councilmember Bode, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? And everybody please mute mics except for Councilmember Bode.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to which You there? Did I lose everybody?
It said bandwidth is low.
Yeah.
All right. Donna, will you do a roll call, please? Oops.
Yes, I will. Councilmember Sherman. Here. Councilmember McDowell.
Here from the great, beautiful Mount Rainier.
Oh, wow.
I'm here.
Yay.
You made it up to the top.
No,
Deputy Mayor Schmidt.
I'm here. Good evening.
Councilmember Peterson.
Here.
Councilmember Bode, he's rejoining. There he is.
Yeah.
Marinesco
Here.
and Councilmember Gutierrez.
here.
Thank you.
All right. Does council have any late changes to the agenda? Hearing none. At this time, I'd like to remind the members of the public that they can make comments during the public comment period, as well as any item listed on the business agenda or the action agenda. When making public comment, you will need to raise your hand electronically on the Zoom app, state your full name and whether you reside within the city limits, Mason County, or elsewhere. Option 1, join the Zoom meeting by clicking on the link displayed in the city's webpage. The link is listed on the agendas and minutes page under the tab that says more. Option 2, you can email the city manager, Jeff Knighton. Option 3, you can call Jeff's phone. Both email address and phone number are displayed on Mason Web streaming video. And do we have any council reports to share tonight? Hands up. All right. Has everyone had a chance to review the consent agenda? Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as published?
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve the consent agenda as published.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve this consent agenda as published. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, tonight we have a presentation from Colleen. Carmichael, Executive Director of Coyote Community, is here to give us an update on the Shelton Veterans Village. We're very excited to hear this.
Thank you. I also have JC Osterberg with us, and she is our Associate Director. So she and I will be sharing the spotlight.
All right.
Donna, do you have the slides that you can start showing?
I guess I have to unmute myself to answer you. Yes, I do. Give me just.
I know it's tricky.
This is the first time I've had to share my screen, so let's see if it works.
It did.
Can you see it?
It did. I can see it. Can everyone else see it?
Yes.
Okay. And I'll just tell you, Donna, when to advance the slide, then will that work?
Yes, that will
Okay,
work just
so-
fine.
Okay, you can go ahead and go to the first slide because I already did our introductions. I'm gonna try not to read slides because I don't like when people do that. So we'll just have a conversation and just kind of provide an update for you on what's been going on with Shelton. So as you know, our plan is to build the 30 homes there. It's a Veterans Village. So we're working with the Department of Veterans Affairs, and we will have VASH vouchers, which have been secured for the site. We'll be providing supportive services, which we will list a little bit of later, but it's with the intention of housing people, taking them off of the streets and give them the kind of support services that they need. And as you may already know, we have a village that is in Olympia, and we have a village that is in Ording, and Ording is another veterans village. So we do have experience in running these types of villages. And here's a list of some of the funding that we have that will be coming through to help support this program. And they are expected, of course, to pay rent while they're there. Next slide, please. This is a drawing, which I think some of you may have seen, maybe not all, but this is basically what it will look like rendering. And we have the fourplexes that we will have, which is individual units on the interior, but combined together to save costs. We're also going to have a community garden. We've been working with the Mason Conservation District for that. Very excited to have them be part of this. And then, of course, you can see the parking lot and the main community building, which is where the commercial kitchen will be. There'll be offices for the staff there, as well as areas where the group can gather for meetings and those kinds of things. Next slide, please.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Thanks so much for having us. So we will have some eligibility requirements for folks wanting to live at the Shelton Veterans Village. Like Colleen said, we'll be getting BASH vouchers, and we'll also be getting regular project-based vouchers from the Bremerton Housing Authority that work very similar to Section 8. And so we do go by the requirements that the Housing Authority has that are similar for someone who's moving into Section 8. So some of that is, not allowed to house sex offenders or folks that recently have been convicted of a crime. We're also recovery housing, so we do strive to have a clean and sober environment for our folks. So we do require a negative drug test in order to move in. And then, of course, it's for veterans 18 and over. And we will be giving priority to veterans specifically in Shelton first, then Mason County, and we'll be going through the coordinated entry system, which is Crossroads Housing in Shelton. And we also have zero tolerance policy on any sort of violence at the village. So there are some eligibility requirements, but we really are trying to screen people in and not screen people out. So things like having zero income or a bad credit score, those are not things that we care about. So next slide, please. Okay, and so this is another rendering. This is from the viewpoint of the community building, so looking out of the back of the porch there. And so you can see it's a nice little courtyard with some greenery in the middle, and then all the homes are in a nice circle for a nice community. Next slide, please.
Okay, so at our villages, we like to obviously work with our residents, and we have case managers that assist. So at every site, we have 2 case managers and 1 program supervisor. And through the case managers, we work with our residents to establish a connection to mental health. We partner with Life Transitions. They've been an exceptional partner to us. We're also investigating the possibility of hiring our first full-time mental health provider, so that we can have college level master's program mental health interns come and do some of the work with our residents. We also obviously want to increase their wellness physically while they're there. We've talked to Kyle about partnering with the YMCA and getting a discounted service for our people there. We also want them to be employed. So whenever we can partner with outside employers, we're going to give them the opportunity to do that. And we have had success with that in the past. Medication management, if needed, we can talk to, and I've already spoken with Mason County Hospital. So these are all things that we're kind of in discussion stage because, our site won't be open until early next year, but we do want to make sure that they have connections to these services. And the food, we partner with local pantries, but we also are going to have a community garden on site. So they'll be able to do some farming there themselves. And our hope is to create a micro enterprise so that they can sell some of those products at your local farmers markets. Next slide, please. And this is, again, just kind of an overview of what the rendering is. We do have a veterans village already established. I believe I discussed that with you in Ordine, and it does look very similar to what these drawings do. So I'm happy to say that these are pretty much in line with how it will look. Next slide, please.
Okay, so and Joe's hand was up. Are we calling on folks, or is this I'm not sure what the.
Sure.
I mistook the
fine,
protocol.
sure.
I just
Yeah,
missed the
it's
protocol here. Go
protocol.
ahead and continue.
Oh, okay. Just wanted to make sure, let you know I saw you. Okay, so as Colleen said, we'll have case management. We'll have 2 full-time case managers that really are helping to support folks with whatever they're needing. So, when folks first move in, helping them get their basic needs met, making sure that they have food. And also the great thing of getting BASH vouchers, which is like the veterans portion of a voucher, is that those also come with VA case managers. And so we'll be able to have that extra support as well too with their case managers. Recovery support. So like I said earlier, it's recovery housing. And so we'll be able to work with substance use providers if residents are wanting to have AA, NA, any type of group meetings, or to refer them out and help them with transportation if that's something that they're needing. And then Colleen already kind of talked about the community garden, but we are already in a partnership with Mason Conservation District, and they'll be helping residents, figuring out how to grow things and nutrition classes and things like that. And then also social events. It's not always just about trying to help residents, with education and being the best person they can be. I mean, part of having overall well-being is also having a social component to your life as well too. So we'll have, barbecues, movie nights, things like that with the community as well. Next slide, please. And then these are some of our partners. So, it's taken a lot of folks to make this a reality. We have Olympic Engineering, who is our civil engineer. Like we said earlier, Mason Conservation District, they've been helping us with landscaping and figuring that all out. City of Shelton, you all have been amazing. Our land releasing is from the city, and you've really, approved this project to happen. So been a great partner for us. MSGS Architect is our architect, and they actually were our architect for the Ording Veterans Village as well as Coyote Village. So they're have a lot of knowledge on how to do a tiny house village. And then Forma Construction, they're based out of Tumwater. They also did the YMCA as well too. So they're very experienced in that area. And then our affordable housing developer is GS Affordable Housing and Ally Community Development. Next slide, please.
Okay, the all-important timeline. This is the one that everyone has been asking about. And I will say again, on behalf of our board and our team, that we were wanting and hoping to make this a reality sooner than later. And we know was a lot of delays. And as I previously had said to you, I'm apologizing on behalf of our agency. That is not the way we want to run. That's why they increased the bandwidth of our team. And now we have the ability to get back on track and get these things done as we had committed to. So we are in the middle of doing the permitting, and all of that process is moving forward. The most important piece we needed was the additional funding and the cost cap increase. And I'm happy to report that's not only in the governor's budget, it's also in the House of Representatives budget and also in the Senate budget. So to have it in all three is normally not something that we see, but we're very pleased that all three of them have approved that. Once that's approved, then we have what's called a HUD subsidy layering review. And that is to make sure that for the vouchers that we have there, that it meets their standards. So that normally takes about 60 days, but we're going to give it 90 just as a precaution, because we do not want this to be behind the 8 ball again. So once that's done, then construction can start actually in June. And it is our understanding that it will take approximately 10 months, which would put us out to April of 2023. So everything is set to go. We've been obviously working with all of these providers, and I told you this before, but if anyone couldn't meet the deadlines, we asked them to step off of the project. And we've had 2 different ones step off the project, and I'm pleased that we were able to replace them with equally skilled organizations. So this is the stand right now. This is as of this moment, what our timeline is. If there's any changes to that, we will let you know. Next slide, please. So in closing, I guess I just want to mention a couple of things. One is I send out monthly updates to the key stakeholders in Shelton. I have been doing that since September. So if you know of anyone, or if anyone would like to be added to that, please let me know. But I do send those out monthly. And we also have on the third Wednesday, we have a Facebook session, a Zoom session, if you will, for the citizens of Shelton. If anyone has questions, they want to ask or make comments, those have been going on also for as long as I've been employed here. So, and I'm the one who's hosting that with Ken Bailey, who is our program manager, who oversees all 3 sites. So in closing, I guess we just want to say thank you for giving us the opportunity to talk to you today. We know what a frustration this has been, but I'm very pleased with the progress we've made, and I hope you will be too. And we're really staying on top of this. We want you to be proud of this project, and we're really grateful to the city of Shelton. Almost every person on this call I've talked to in one way or another, whether through the chamber or I'm on the Skookum Rotary, so I've started to really kind of be part of Shelton, and I'm just really pleased and proud that we could bring this back to where you needed it to be, so you guys could be proud of it also. So thank you so much for giving us this opportunity.
Thank you, Colleen. Donna, can you unshare the screen and see if any council members have any questions or comments? Councilmember Schmidt.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to make a comment and express my thanks. I did have an opportunity to meet with Colleen, and we definitely discussed ahead of this meeting, this presentation, what things are on our minds, so we could be prepared to share tonight. And I'll be honest, it's kind of a breath of fresh air. I'm really appreciating Colleen's leadership on this. Things are moving forward. It's kind of a fun process to now be part of, and to be able to see this now on the schedule for the summertime to be breaking ground. It's exciting, and again, with Colleen's leadership and the other staff at Coyote, I'm encouraged that this project is going to be successful, and we're going to get there here and hopefully really start to tackle the challenges related to homelessness and unhoused persons in our community. So I just want to say thank you for hanging with us, and I know it's not been the easiest thing to get this going, and I'm very happy that you've been successful in the legislature to secure additional funding to make sure that this project can be completed and then sustainable for the long haul. So thanks again for your hard work, and we're excited to see the successes of this project. Thanks.
Thank you,
Thanks so
Councilmember.
much. And thanks to Jeff too. Jeff has been, we've been meeting monthly, and he's really been a very gracious person and helpful to me in ways when I get stuck and say, Jeff, what do you think? He's just been very kind and thoughtful of me. So your leadership too at the city, everyone I've dealt with at the city, including Jason, who's on our committee, have just been exceptional. So I applaud you for the choices you've made in leadership for the city. They really have been supportive. So.
Thank you. Councilmember McDowell.
Hi, JC, and hi, Colleen. Nice to see you. I'm really excited for this project. We've been waiting a long time for it. I know at the beginning of the plans, we're going to be separate residents for each veterans. Is this going to be okay? I know that it's exciting to see you wanting to spread the money further by going with a different plan, but is this going to be okay for the veterans to have those walls between them?
That's our hope. I mean, we're certainly putting in measures that would, diminish the sound of other people, but it is our hope. We change a little bit every time we do a new village. And this is another opportunity to do that. So it is our intention to keep it so that they don't hear each other, but that they're close enough that they have that sense of camaraderie. And it also, we have found that they do like hanging out with each other. And so it doesn't feel like it would be too, and they'll still have their individual units, just so you all know. It's just 4 of them
Right.
butted back together. So they'll have their own
Right.
privacy. And we'll do what we can to mitigate the noise if there is any, but they're very respectful. At least they have been at our sites that we have. So.
Okay, one more thing. The Shelton Centennial Lions Club has been talking about being involved with them. Is there some of the other service clubs that's going to be involved also?
That's our hope. I'm partial to the Rotary clubs. Shh, don't tell anyone.
Oh, I won't say anything.
But yes, I mean, we would love to have, and we have that currently at our other sites. There's different, the League of Women Voters. We've had the Lions clubs. We've had Rotary clubs. So we welcome that to help us and assist us. And it's good for our residents to get to meet local community members and be part of the community and be active in giving back. That's important to us. So yes, I would love that. And if you want to introduce me, any of you, to the key players, please let me know and I'd be happy to speak to them.
Okay, we will call on you. I'm on the board for Shelton Centennial Lions Club. Eric's a board member and we will be getting hold of you.
Excellent.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Councilmember Gutierrez.
Thank you. Colleen and JC, I just want to say thank you for all the work you put in and getting this back on track. Also, I just wanted to ask, like, what's the appetite for more of these in the future? And can we do more? And I just really want to make sure that we are successful in this and that this could be a model for things to come. Your comments?
Yeah, we don't have any plans to expand our model as of this moment. We take it year by year. Obviously, we learned an important lesson about trying to build 2 villages at the same time. So we're trying to stagger them. Every time we do a new one, we try and make improvements to it. So we're very fortunate that we've had a lot of interest in our model because it has been successful. I want to, again, applaud the team and the board for the work they did prior to my coming on board. It really is an exceptional model based on permanent supportive housing, which is one of the ways that we can end homelessness. You have some exceptional providers already in your town, and we have worked with them with coordinated entry, but we are really looking forward to coming together, all of us, to try and figure out a way that we can reduce this problem, because it is, I mean, just driving through the streets of Shelton, you can see that it is in need of some attention, and we are happy to partner with the city and with the other providers to see what we can do to make this stronger and better. But no plans as of this moment to expand the model, but certainly we've done 3 of them now. We do have a little bit more expertise than others as it comes to this specific model. We specialize in this, so it is our intention to continue to improve it every year, even the programs we offer, to make sure that they're best that we can for our clients and for the people that we serve.
Thank you for it being so comprehensive, and it's thought about so many things that homeless people go through. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Right. Any other questions? I don't see any hands up. Colleen and JC, thank you very much for the update, and we look forward to seeing you break ground.
Thank you so much, Eric, and everybody. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Cool. All right. It is now time for our general public comment. Donna, do we have anyone interested in making any comments tonight?
Let me take a look here, Mr. Mayor. I don't see anyone with their hand raised, but I did expect there to be one. Oh,
Mr. Andrews is raising his hand. Mr. Andrews, how can we help you today?
Oh, first of all, I want to make sure you can hear me.
I can hear you.
Okay, good. I wanted to talk to the city about the permit process for the protest downtown Shelton. And is there any, do they have to fill out a form, an application for that permit?
I'm not sure what you're asking. City Manager Knighton?
Yeah, so during public comment, Mr. Andrews, you're free to make comment, but we try to refrain from making it a question and answer session. If you'd like to write me an email or call me, I'd be happy to go over that with you tomorrow.
Do that, thank you.
All right. Do we have anyone else put their hand up? Or,
here.
let me see here.
I had a phone message that Karen Rice wanted to make a public comment, and I can see she's in the meeting. Karen, are you wanting to make a public comment or no?
Hi, yes, well, it was regarding the animal ordinance. Should I wait until that is brought up and then make a comment at that time?
Yes, that would be perfect. So I will
Okay.
make myself a note. Thank you, Karen.
Great, thank you.
So there's
right.
no more general public comment, Mr. Mayor.
All right, and we have no business items to discuss tonight, so we'll move on to our action agenda. Our first action item is an ordinance about noise regulations. City Manager Jeff Knighton has information for us.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, Deputy Mayor, and members of council. Tonight is your second reading of Ordinance 1982-0122 related to noise regulations within the city of Shelton. As you recall, we had a study session just before Thanksgiving last year, November 23rd, where we had a draft ordinance. Council proposed several changes, which we made prior to your consideration of this item at your February 15th meeting. And there have been no changes between the February 15th meeting and the item being considered tonight. And I'd be happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Anybody have any questions for City Manager Knighton? And after a motion, we'll have discussion. No questions? All right, Donna, do we have anybody signed up for public comment?
Let me take a look here. No, we don't, Mr. Mayor.
May I have a second reading of ordinance number 1982-0122?
Ordinance number 1982-0122. An ordinance of the city of Shelton, Washington, amending chapter 9.18 of the Shelton Municipal Code relating to noise regulations.
All right, do we have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I move to adopt ordinance number 1982-0122 as presented.
And do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second, and any council members have any questions or comments? All right, we have a motion and a second to adopt ordinance number 1982-0122 as presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, we have another ordinance from Jeff on animal control.
Thank you very much. Excuse me. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, Deputy Mayor, and members of council. This ordinance, the Animal Control Regulation Ordinance 1983-0122, was brought before council at a study session last year, late last year, and we identified several changes, including lifetime permits for microchipped animals, several other things related to chickens on lots located in the neighborhood residential zone. We updated those, and at your discussion on February 15th, at your regular business meeting, there was a slight modification to the ordinance, which is reflected in the copy that you have before you, to change the holding period before we partner with either Kids of Humane Society or Adopt a Pet from 3 days to 7 days. I have heard over the last couple of days that there are additional changes that council may want to consider, and I'm happy to answer any questions at this time.
All right, Donna, do we have any public comments tonight?
I believe we do have a public comment. Karen Rice, you have 3 minutes to make your comment, and I'll begin the time when you start.
Okay, I wrote a letter to Mr. Knighton, and I would just like to read the letter and hope it will be included in the minutes. I was very surprised to see restrictions proposed for keeping chickens within the city limits of Shelton. My husband and I live in a neighborhood where several families keep chickens, and we have yet to see a single rat. We walk around the neighborhood often and at various times of the day, So surely we would have noticed if there were a rat infestation. We also attend events in downtown Shelton, and we assume there are rats there because there are restaurants there. And I would think that restaurant garbage would attract rats more than chickens. Anyway, our immediate neighbors have chickens and care for them responsibly. Anyone who keeps animals or pets knows to keep their food in closed containers. And compared to other noises caused by humans, the mellow crowing of a rooster or two is negligible. Thank you for considering my comments. And before changing animal ordinances, it is hoped there will be much more input from residents. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Donna, do we have anybody else sign up for public comment?
Let me take a look here. Don't, Mr. Mayor.
Can we get a reading of ordinance number 1983-0122?
Ordinance number 1983-0122, an ordinance of the city of Shelton, Washington, amending Title 7 and Section 7.02.010 of the Shelton Municipal Code relating to animal control.
All right. I see Councilmember Schmidt has his hand up. Do we want to take your statement before we make a motion?
Well, Mr. Mayor, to reiterate a little bit, City Manager Knighton referred to, there's several conversations I know that have been had between community members, Ms. Rice, who just spoke, for example. I know also council members have had some additional thoughts on this topic. Therefore, I would like to move that we table action on this tonight until after we have the study session to further discuss and line this out. I don't see a priority that we need to kick this through tonight. I think we can delay for another month or so and get our ducks in a row, and hopefully come up with some better solutions in the language as written this evening. That's my motion to table until the April study session.
All right, we do have an active motion on the floor. Do we hear a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to table ordinance 1983-0122 to a further study session in April. Is that correct?
Mr. Mayor, if I could throw a point of order, I'd like to specify the date in April, and the City Manager Knighton has the looking ahead, so we can schedule that appropriately. I'll include that in the motion.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. We have a study session scheduled that I think will be pretty robust discussions for March 8th and for March 22nd. The next available study session slot, unless there's a priority for this one, but from my understanding, we could wait a little while from your comments, if other council members agree, is next study session would be available on April 12th.
Okay. And I'll just thank you for that. And so then again, my motion will be that we table this until the April 12th study session.
Okay, do we need to do a second on that, City Manager? Or is it already set?
I think that if Councilmember Schmidt would like to withdraw his original motion and then restate the motion as we'd like to table this item until the April 12th study session, that would be succinct, and then we could get a second for that.
Thank you for the clarification. I will withdraw my original motion to table, and I will propose a new motion to table this until the April 12th study session.
All right, do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to table ordinance 1983-0122 to April 12th study session. Now, do we have any discussion? I see two hands up. Councilmember Gutierrez.
Thank you. I just wanted to thank Karen for coming out to discuss the chickens and the animals. Everyone who was also in line but did not ask to speak up tonight. I just wanted to say that we're in Shelton and we're rural, and I believe that chickens are part of the culture. And
Council member, we're just discussing the table.
The motion's
the
table.
table.
Yeah,
Sorry.
the motion
Okay.
table.
Then this deserves further discussion. Thank you for having us table it for the study session.
Thank you, Councilmember McDowell.
Well, thank you, Joe, for bringing that up. I did want to say something earlier, but since we're just talking about the tabling of the motion, I will wait till later to talk on the chicken item. Thanks,
Oh.
Joe.
All right, do you have any other hands up? We don't. So we have a motion and a second to table ordinance number 1983-0122. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, so we will ignore the next motion, correct? So, yes, all right. Now we have a Community Development Director, Mark Ziegler, has information for us about the Park and Recreation Advisory Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Deputy Mayor, council members. Bringing back to you tonight the recommended appointment of 4 individuals for the Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee. I mentioned Ms. Dozier and Ms. Patterson were reappointments from expiring terms that they just served. Ms. Stearns would be filling in a vacant position in my brief on February 15th. And since that time, we've had another, but a resignation from Chris Wright, opening a position for which we had an application, a letter of interest from Mr. Mel Schneider. So I'm amending this motion for you tonight to appoint 4 new members to the 5-member Parks and Recreation Citizens Advisory Committee.
Perfect. Do we have anybody set up for public comment, Donna?
Let me see here. No, we don't, Mr. Mayor.
And do we have a motion?
I move to appoint Deborah Dozier, Sue Patterson, Melissa Stearns, and Mel Schneider to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee.
Then do we have a second?
Second.
All right. Any discussion?
Thank you for your service.
Thank you. And thank you, Mr. Ziegler, for putting this together. We have a motion and a second to adopt Deborah Dozier, Sue Patterson, Melissa Stearns, and Michelle Snyder into the Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. All right, our last item is a resolution for the final acceptance of a chip seal project. City Engineer Ken Gill has details for us.
Good evening, council. It's good to see every one of you in Zoomville. This is your second and last shot at the chip seal work that we did this summer. So basically extended from the hospital where we left off 2 years ago, and then at the intersection of Wallace and Nealand and North 13th. So a big thank you to Sierra Santa Fe staff for getting all the chip seal off our water and sewer iron. In addition to Alan Eden for providing the tack and the fog seal, and also our city public works crews that removed the plastic and put new plastic recessed markers back. So this process that you do complete tonight starts the process to get the retainage. It's about $6,500 back into their pocket and accepts the project. That's all I had to present. I'd love to hear any questions after you do your motion.
Anybody just has any questions for the engineer Ken Gill? All right, do we have anybody sign up for public comment?
No, we don't, Mr. Mayor.
All right, we have a reading of resolution number 1226-0222.
Yes. Resolution number 1226-0222. A resolution of the Council of the City of Shelton, Washington, accepting the 2021 chip seal project as final and complete.
All right, do we have a motion?
I move to adopt resolution number 1226-0222 as presented.
Second.
All right, discussion. I just lost this screen.
Oh.
There we go. Councilmember McDowell.
I think I pushed a button, but Ken, I wasn't trying to get rid of you. My finger slipped. Anyway, Ken, I just want to thank you for your hard work and all that you do, saving us all our pennies that can go elsewhere. So thank you very much, and excited to see this finished.
All
You're
right.
welcome. It was fun.
Mayor,
Yes.
excuse me, I did not catch who seconded the motion. Was that Councilmember Peterson? Thank you.
All right. And any other questions or comments? I will say thank you, Ken, and it shows how our transportation benefit district dollars are being used in the city of Shelton the last 4 years, getting some of these projects done, and look forward to seeing many more in the future. So we have a motion and a second to adopt resolution number 1226-0222 as presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Now administration reports. Jeff, do you have a report for us tonight? Where's Jeff?
Now I'm doing it. I forgot to take
There you
myself
are.
off mute. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, Deputy Mayor, and members of council. A few things to report tonight. The first is our Empty Bowls event that we hold each year. I believe communication went out a little bit earlier in the year that had a March date. And I did want to reiterate that event has been moved back to and I believe we communicated that, but there was a little bit of mixed messages right at the beginning. So I wanted to be clear that the event is scheduled for May 4th, May 11th, and May 18th. So just to clear that up a little bit. Western Gateway bid opening is tomorrow. So that's exciting, and make sure that you all have information on that after we've gone through that process with our city clerk tomorrow. And you may have heard that Governor Inslee announced yesterday that the mask mandate will end as of March 11th. So we'll have masking requirements here in the Civic Center through Friday, March 11th. And then on March 12th, there will no longer be a mandate in the city. However, that does not mean that the OPMA, the Open Public Meetings Act, has changed. I've been working to get confirmation on that over the last few days. That prohibition, or not prohibition, as you all know, we can have public meetings just with a little bit different setup, which still separates council from members of the public that want to come, with the TV screen down here in the big main room, and then council set up in 2 different rows, which I don't believe anybody at council was comfortable with. So once the emergency declaration ends, I will make sure to get that information to you. But at the moment, we will continue our council meetings in, as our city engineer calls it, Zoomville. So wanted to mention that. Lastly, on you're looking ahead, which we talked about a little bit, at your study session on March 8th, next Tuesday, we'll be talking about the draft sign ordinance and the draft graffiti ordinance that we have coming up. We also have on March 15th, your next regular meeting, our first meeting of the Shelton Municipal Parks District, the SMPD, at which meeting the Parks Board will select a president and a clerk of the board. And then you'll also have an Eagle Point update. And at the regular meeting, we have several items. One is the Western Gateway Project Award. So there are several things coming up there, along with the MACECOM lease update for the Timberland Regional Library from our partners there. Let's see, annexation for the Peacock Ridge development is also on your looking ahead. We're working through that process along with the information that you received at your last study session on the annexation process. And we also have I love all these acronyms. We have an ILA with MTA. So that's an interlocal agreement with the Mason Transit Authority and stormwater capacity grant. We did hear the other day that our stormwater capacity grant was increased by a pretty significant amount, and I will make sure that you have that information. And then we have several things coming up. Your council retreat for strategic planning purposes, the strategic planning goals that council developed and set in 2019 need review with a few new council members, so everybody can participate in that. And that's through the month of March. There's quite a few things going on this spring, and we'll look forward to seeing you at your March 8th study session. Thank you.
Any questions for City Manager Knighton? No? All right. Does council have any new items for discussion? All right. Our next council meeting will be Tuesday, March 15th at 6 p.m. We also have a study session March 8th at 6 p.m. This meeting is adjourned at 6:40.
My hand was up, but you can't see it because of the brown background.
It's really light against your background. Yes.
Yeah.
Councilmember
See it
Gutierrez.
again. I wanted, is this the appropriate time to make a comment about the people who came out to advocate for chickens? Because if it is, I'd like to say thank you for coming out to advocate for chickens in the animal control, and also for people who would want to contact me and give additional information that I can bring to the study session, because I just want to let people know that I'm a chicken advocate, and drop me an email or call me, and I would like to let the city council know that how important it is to have chickens in Shelton. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Anybody else have any other that I missed? Nope. All right. So again, ordinance council meeting will be Tuesday, the 15th at March 15th at 6 p.m. and the study session March 8th at 6 p.m. This meeting is adjourned at 6:47 p.m. Thank you, everybody.